2010 Dakar Rally continues. It's stage 6, Antofagasta to Iquique. The massive erg at the stage finish down to the shores of the Pacific. Top running Italian Luca Manca on the number 31 KTM has had a big off. Whilst the Volkswagens, they have got a Dakar Rally to win. Which one will be victorious? The previous day's action was stage 5 into Antofagasta. It was fast and it was furious. Robbie Gordon was flying with his Hummer 3, not quite tipping it onto its nose, but my goodness me, certainly nearly doing as such. Dust once more the order of the day into Antofagasta, down there on the shores of the Pacific. But having a beach holiday was anything but in the forefront of these guys' minds. Hardness really setting in, people beginning to just run out of their, well, European levels of energy. Even the world's finest in real trouble. And if you think it's battering enough on two wheels, what can you imagine is it like inside a truck? Gold, silver and copper mines in this part of the world. And this is part 2 of the T2 class Nissan that went over the edge of a cliff near to where Alfie Cox came to the end of his rally, ironically on his birthday. Some people getting away with the drop and some people not getting away with it, but as always, Dakar camaraderie coming to the fore. How lucky was this guy not to go over the edge, but then he decided, well, I've got a buggy. So they had a quick conversation, had a bit of a mother's meeting, and continued. Any problems, asks the cameraman? Well, we'll find out a few kilometres down the road. This one was not so lucky, crunching in, nearly going on its roof. And then you thought, well, he might just get away with it, but then gets completely jammed in. As always, the Dakar every day has 100 stories. It's going to be a very dusty third of the stage once they leave Antofagasta, going from the coast up road by 180 kilometres to the start of the stage. It's a big one, 418 kilometres, looping right round to the beach, literally, at Iquique. Dust is going to be the order of this, the 6th stage of the 2010 Dakar. Assembled at the start line just after dawn, everybody preparing themselves for the off, and everybody preparing themselves for the dust, and then the very fast end to the stage before a massive erg. That's the expression for a massive dune that will then drop these guys literally down onto the beach and the Pacific Ocean at Iquique. First on the road, the victor of yesterday's stage, Francisco Lopez, the local rider. But he had company in those early few kilometres. Everybody was following him. Fretenier was in there, Alain Duclos, Consalves, Ruben Faria, Palandos, Olivalsetta was all in there, and it was difficult for Lopez really to get away, because with 2 minutes between the leading 10 riders off the line and that dust as a bit of a telltale, there really is no escaping on those massive wide open plains. So the further back you started, the more of an advantage you gained. Here on the edge of the Atacama Desert, the scenery once more absolutely breathtaking, but terrible news just after the first 10 kilometres on the stage. Italian Luca Manca crashed off his KTM. He has been airlifted away with serious head injuries. Our prayers are with him. But the race continued, with Cyril Desprez leading at the first control point and then losing a little bit of an advantage by the time he came to the refuelling. The neutralised section, Desprez in first, and saying to us it's part of rally raiding when you're early on in the stage. Sometimes you forget that you're actually racing because you're out there on your own and you get distracted. What was your maximum speed? We had 180 clicks in the helicopter. He says, no, you were faster than me. I reckon I had about 158, which is just under 100 miles an hour. So these guys, they had a few minutes under the neutralisation in the refuelling to put some gas in and then get ready to get back on the road. But what about poor old Gonçalves, the Portuguese off the BMW? He was just coming into the refuelling area and a massive crash for the amiable Portuguese. The medical crews with him immediately. He says, I'm so sad that my rally has come to an end here. It's the first Dakar that I'm not going to finish. I'm so disappointed. I was quick. I was close to Frétigné, but I couldn't see in the dust and I went straight over the top. Gonçalves, what a shame. He's out of the rally. A very battered BMW. A quick note about David Frétigné. He has leapt from an overnight 15th to 8th in the overall standings. But at the forefront, it was Mark Comer who had the best run. He has been victorious on the sixth stage into EQK, and he has began his charge back to the top of the rankings. He has managed to pull out 10.5 minutes over the rest of the field, and Comer has leapt from 7th to 4th in the overall standings. This could be a real charge and a real finale of the 2010 Dakar, right to the last kilometre of 9,000. Cyril Desprez, second on today's stage, those 10.5 minutes behind Mark Comer, and Cyril Desprez continues to lead in the overall standings by 42 minutes ahead of Francisco Lopez. But it wasn't Lopez who was third on the stage, it was actually, as he celebrates coming into the stage finish, it was actually Helder Rodriguez on the 450 that was third on today's stage. The little Aprilia 450, he was concerned about the rear tyre at one point, but the 450 that was victorious yesterday with Chaleco, the nickname for Lopez, the Italian brand should be pretty happy with that. Rodriguez third in the overall standings. Now here is Francisco Lopez, an Aprilia 3 and 4 as we have now come into EQK. Lopez second in the overall standings, jumping for joy in the last couple of 100 yards as these guys have made a massive drop of about the last 3 kilometres down to the waterfronts. Palando's Olivalsetta, fifth on today's stage, but still losing times to those very svelte and agile 450s that were ahead of him. Olivalsetta fifth overall. Now, the man from Slovakia, Jakub Ivan Jax, he's now in 9th in the overall standing. So the men who have not shared the limelight in recent years getting a chance for some now. Stage 6 and a victorious one for Mark Comer ahead of Desprez. 10.5 minutes, they're precious for Comer. Rodriguez, Lopez and Olivalsetta 5th. Therefore, in the overall standings, Dupre still leads by 42 minutes from Lopez, but Coma closing in. He's now 4th.
Una especial complicada la primera.
Mark Coma saying
29, había un waypoint
there was a very difficult hidden waypoint at the 29th kilometre. All the riders turned right. With the dust, I was a little bit lost. But finally, I didn't lose time. I suppose had a good rhythm. Even in the end, if it was hard for me, I had to pass a few riders in the dust. It was quite dangerous, but I tried to keep cool. I'm happy to be here without any problems.
Cette fin spéciale pour moi c'était magnifique et
the end of this stage was both magnificent and complicated because I almost feel seasick in these mountains. It was like a roller coaster. For 30 kilometres we've done downhill slaloms, almost a bobsleigh over those last few kilometres. Amazing.
Juste du bobsleigh pendant 30 bornes quoi.
It was a very difficult stage, very long, with a lot of navigation, but I kept my concentration right from the start. 40 or 50 k's in, I caught the leaders. We pushed until the end, but the bike is excellent, made a good result as well. At the beginning, I went straight into a dry river, and then when I came back out of it, I met Cyril and all the others, Fratinier, Rodriguez, all of Alceta, many riders. We all found the best route there and had a bit of a race together. I tried to focus on the rhythm of Dupre, and we finished all together and in perfect conditions.
Y después del abastecimiento hasta acá me vine un ritmo mejor para tratar de recuperar lo que me metió, cierto, hoy día me metió Cyril y bueno, llegamos en perfectas condiciones.